Welcome to Home Team Advantage. I'm Gary Gimbetti along with Mike Egan, and we're back again for another week of what?
The best show in town.
Best show in town.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, at least we're halfway dressed, with our uniform now.
Yep, and we're probably the only show in town, although no, there are other people who do use
We're
HVAC.
probably the only two in town that look at the sweatshirt and go, oh, that's right, I do have to do something this morning.
And we have to look at it to make sure we remember what
who's
show we
We
are.
should have our name put on
Yeah.
them.
I'll come in with Mike, you'll come in with Gary,
Yep.
or put Ron on there. And
No, I won't go with Ron.
No, not Ron. Okay, because he's sitting there over there with his now.
Yep.
Got it last week, and
Oh, and he's got his lot. What do you have? Oh, by the way, this is brought to you by
Caribou Coffee,
Caribou. What is this today?
Caramel High Rise.
Caramel High Rise?
Yep.
Okay. So you drink that, you get a rise in something, or what's
No.
your energy?
Yeah, blood pressure,
Blood pressure.
and lipids and triglycerides and all that stuff. So,
Those are words I don't even know what they mean.
but hey, it's been busy. Couple weeks in sports. This week's fairly busy. Boys hockey started out with a 4-0 win over Marshall on Monday, so it was a good start to the week. Marshall, surprisingly, talking to some of their parents before the game, they only have 14 skaters.
At the Marshall?
Yeah,
Oh.
and that's not typical Duluth Marshall.
No.
I mean, obviously they're a private school, so it's not necessarily they don't necessarily recruit, but you can go there if you want and play. But it's not the same Marshall team maybe that we would see like 6, 7, 8 years ago, where they'd be pretty dominant and that. But hey, I mean, started slow. It was a Monday game, which is very unusual for Hibbing Sports to play on Mondays.
Usually Tuesday and Thursdays they play.
Yeah,
Tuesday and
Tuesday,
Friday.
Thursdays, Fridays, or even Saturdays. But there was no school, and it was just they were out of their routine, so they didn't start out very well. But hey, they got the first goal, Jace Kamsela did, and they went on from there. And now they have 3 games in 3 days. Start with Superior at Superior tonight, and then they come home and face Crookston and Thief River Falls, I believe, over the weekend.
Nice.
So if you were looking for something to do, get out and support the boys hockey team. They're, I want to say 12-5-1 right now. They want to they want to go into the playoffs 19-5-1. So
That'd be nice.
they have 7 games left or whatever it is.
Are they ranked this year at all?
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to rankings because it doesn't mean anything.
And I heard a rumor yesterday that Cloquet is petitioning to go down, or going to go down to A now.
Well, I don't doubt that. I don't. Shea Walters does a great job over there, and but eventually they're going to have to.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not. They're already playing up, and I think their enrollment allows them to play a Class A. So, yeah, no, that certainly could happen.
And maybe Hermtown will move up to where they belong.
Well, I'm not getting. Yeah. I wish I was more controversial than I am, but I'm not getting into that one. Girls basketball played Tuesday night against Hermantown here. Quite the game. I got there. I was at girls hockey first for the first period. When I got to the basketball game, Hermantown was up 25-23 with about 5 minutes to go in the first half. By the time the half ended, it was 41-29 Hermantown.
Oh, wow.
So in that last 5 minutes, I don't know, what did they go on, 12-4 run or whatever it was, or 12-6 run. And in Hermantown, they looked decent. They had some shooters, the Birkeland girl and one of the Biondi girls. There's 2 Biondi girls on there. I don't know if they're twins or not, but Lauren, I think it was a 3-point shooter. She made 6 threes in that game.
Wow.
And the Birkeland girl made 5. So we kind of lost track of where they were during most of the game, but they did a better job on Birkeland in the second half. I don't think she got a 3 in the second half. But coming out in the start of the second half, we're down by 12? We come out on like a 25 to something run, 25 to 4 run.
Wow.
So now we're up by 15 points.
Yep.
So we went from down 12 to up 15.
Oh, that's great.
So that was really fun to see, and I'm sure the Hermantown people were like, "What the heck's going on here?"
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but then
They blew it.
unfortunately, it's the word. Unfortunately, we turned the ball over a couple times. They hit the Biondi girl, got hot, hit some threes. We lost track of people on defense, and we're giving them 3-point plays. And we missed 14 free throws.
Wow.
And 5 for sure down the stretch. And Hermantown got it a 71-69 lead with under a minute to go. Then Evan Kibble made a nice turnaround jumper in the lane and tied it up. And Hermantown comes down with the ball, and it's at midcourt. Hibbing's playing some decent defense for like 15 seconds. The Hermantown girl goes to her left to dribble, and she trips over one of our players.
Call the foul.
Call the foul. 2 seconds left in the game. Was it a foul? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I talk to Babe Glumac all the time about common sense officiating, and at some point, let the kids decide it.
Yeah.
And of course, it was the Birkeland girl who she had 38 points.
Wow.
So she made about 10 or 11 free throws in the second half. So she goes up and hits 2 of them. So they're up 73-71. And then Emma threw a nice football pass to Reese Ani. She caught it just outside the 3-point arc on their end of the court, and she got a shot off, and it hit the rim. So, they had a chance.
Yeah.
But, first off, you can blame the free throw shooting, because if you make half of your free throws, half of the 14, you win comfortably.
Yeah.
But also, again, I think we've talked about it before. I don't know. I know we talked about it in the Grand Rapids hockey game with penalty in the last 2.5 minutes of the game, and puts Grand Rapids on the power play. They win. And there's been other games, and I don't see. And just prior to that, Ani went in for a layup and got nailed.
They didn't call it.
Didn't call foul.
Local officials?
Well, yeah, they're from around here. They're not from Hibbing.
No.
They were out of town officials, and which is fine, and they're all great guys and all that. But she gets nailed, falls to the floor, is hurt, but they allow Hermantown to go back down to the other end of the court and probably scored on that. I'm assuming 5-on-4. But she gets fouled, and then they go and call this nitpicky foul on the other end.
Here, just a minute. Let me get my violin. I got it.
Okay, yeah, no, look for it, please.
Okay, you talking about fouls or penalties?
Fouls. So,
Fouls.
yes.
Fouls.
Yes. So, I again, whatever. It was a great game.
Yep.
I mean, it was fun to watch them come back, make your free throws, and you win the game.
Well, they always say you can learn from a loss, right?
Well, that's what Coach Hansen told me. We got to learn from this,
Yeah.
but that's something where if they're going to give you the ball on the free throw line,
You got to make them.
you got to make them,
Yep.
and it didn't work out. So I don't know. Whatever.
Well, hopefully this will help get them, or get the experience of being a close game too, if they get into when playoffs start. So
Yeah, well, Hermantown's not a bad. They had a decent team. I heard we started well, and then Hermantown went running back like with an 18-2 run or something to get that lead at the half. But yeah, no, we came down. I mean, we hit everything. I mean, all those girls played so well, and they worked. The biggest thing was they worked as a team.
yeah, good.
Yeah, there wasn't any individual efforts there. They moved the ball around. They got the shots, and hey, they went in.
Yeah,
That's the key. Get more shots than turnovers, and you're going to put more points on the board, obviously.
and make your free throws.
Yeah, yeah. That's the moral of the story right there. Is don't miss those free throws. The girls hockey got back there. They beat North Shore 2-0. So they're pretty much going to get, I think, the 6th seed in the section.
Okay.
So they'll play the 3rd seed, and we'll see what happens. But they're not in Proctor Hermantown's bracket, so if they can put a run together, they could get to the finals and play the Mirage there. So, but it's not going to be easy because Cloquet and Marshall and Rock Ridge are all decent teams. So and you have your injury again. We brought it up 500,000 times, but she makes a difference if she's in the lineup.
But the other thing too, if you, especially in high school hockey, you got a hot goalie, you can go a long way in the tournament.
Oh, and hey, kudos to Addison Hess and Grace McDowell. They've done a fantastic job this year. This Grace has been back after missing 2 years with the injuries, and she's done very well for herself, and Addison's done very well for herself, considering she played every game last year.
Yep.
So, no, they could. I mean, they can make a run with the hot goaltending, but you also got to start scoring goals.
Right.
And that's the biggest issue they've had, is they just can't get the puck in the net. They did twice against North Shore. Ani Bobin with a shorthanded goal. That was beautiful. Nice. She deked down. She deked to the left, went to the right, and just deposited in the net. And then Penella Rewerts had the second goal, which I didn't see, but she attacked the net, and look what happens. Boy, when you attack the net. They did get beat by Moose Lake, though. Saturday they played in Chisholm against Moose Lake. They got beat 5-1, where they did get 40 shots on net. But again, they're not
putting it in the net.
They're not putting it in the net, and they're not crowding the net to maybe pick up a rebound and knock it in, whereas Moose Lake did when they had the opportunity. So get to the net. That's where good things happen. You don't need to be a hockey player to figure that out.
Not to change the subject, but I went over and watched. They had the fundraising hockey tournament. Steve Esty puts on, for the youth hockey fundraiser, and it was really kind of. I went over to Fairgrounds and watched some of them play, and you can tell the ones that have played hockey for a while and the ones that haven't. But it was fun, entertaining, and they no fights, no arguments. At least ones that you didn't see.
Well, I hope because usually you feel bad for officials.
Yeah.
During stuff like that, because it's not supposed to be checking, I don't think.
Right, there's no checking.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully nobody got out of hand. It doesn't sound like it did.
No, actually, and you can tell some of the local talent that's played, Hibbing high school hockey, they still got the legs, to skate with them, and some of the other guys, it's just fun to watch. It's fun to watch that type of hockey without the checking and the hitting and the cheap shots. So
yeah, and again, you said it. There's some very good hockey talent from Hibbing that play in that thing, and it's nice to watch them back on the ice again. That's the same with the summer one when they put that tournament on. Except you get a few more people there.
Yeah, I don't know. The fairgrounds was crowded. It was full.
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, that's a nice little arena. I know it needs some work, and there's some problems with it, but it's a fun, nice little arena to watch hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a bad.
Well, if you want to freeze, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's
Of course, during that weekend it was fairly nice out, so it wasn't so bad in there.
No.
But now that the weather's going to change a little bit.
Go upstairs and sit behind the plexiglass.
Well, that's true. That's probably.
Bang your head on that beam that you got to go under.
All right, so again, now the hockey team's at Superior. Then they have Crookston and Thief River here. Tonight at 5 o'clock, the boys swimming team goes against Superior here. And basketball, we got boys basketball tonight. They head over to Grand Rapids and play the Thunderhawks. Yeah. So, good good luck to them.
Better take a swig of your latte there.
Yeah, got to get the throat. I've been having some of those issues like you've been having. So
it's called age.
So that's what's going on tonight. Hopefully, they played Grand Rapids tough in their Christmas tournament. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they can go over there and see how much they've improved on that front. They had a tough weekend with Bemidji and Hermantown.
Wow.
I mean, so but they're two very good teams. You know, Hermantown only graduated one guy from last year's team that beat us in the section final, so they're kind of loaded this year. They'd probably be the section favorite. So we'll see. I hope they, you know, I just saw Coach Ani and the team are getting better after every game, and they won't face teams like Hermantown and Bemidji every day. On Friday, just checking out the schedule, the wrestlers go to Pine City for an invite, or for a quad, 4-team. The varsity hockey games here. Girls basketball plays here against Monaga. So that's at 7:15. So we got hockey and boys hockey and girls basketball going on. And then Saturday, we have the hockey game, of course. It starts at 2. The boys basketball team, I know they play this weekend. Yeah, they play North Branch here at 1:30. And it looks like the girls basketball team goes to Bemidji at 1 o'clock.
Right. Kind of different to playing a game at 1 o'clock. What happened to the night games?
Well, weekends are usually start
Yeah.
a little sooner to get teams off, you know, get teams here or there and get them on
Well,
the
that's
road
true.
again.
Yeah, you don't want them driving. Yeah.
So, but it's a busy weekend. Wrestlers, they had 3 champions at the Skip Nayland in Grand Rapids last week. Bryson Leverby, Ian Leverby, and Christian Jelly. Congratulations to them. I see Drew Shea finally got back into the lineup. He
Good.
wrestled at something like 189 or something with Cooper Hendrickson, and I think in the same weight group. So I don't know. They got to find a way to split them
that.
up.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's one of your top 6 wrestlers right there, and he's
Right.
got to be in the lineup. But thank goodness he's back from that broken wrist, so now he's got about a month to get ready for sections.
Busy time of the year.
Yeah,
Everybody's getting geared up and working towards sections or regionals, whatever they have. And like I said, you never know what's going to happen when you get into the tournament time. So,
and girls start. They have 2 games left,
yep.
and then they start in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So you start at the end of October, and now you're done.
And where'd those 3 months go?
Oh man, yeah. But that means we're getting closer to spring.
Oh yeah, it's 20 below out. It's
Yeah.
getting closer to spring.
Yeah, that's about our only. That's about our only hope.
Yeah.
And then just to, I guess, well, then on Monday, as long as I got to have the schedule here, the girls hockey team does play International Falls here, and boys basketball plays Proctor at the Lincoln. So that's what you have
Full
coming
slate
up.
of things to do.
Yep. And the boys hockey team goes to International Falls on Tuesday.
Is there anything with the arts department as far as plays or choir or singing and dancing and
Not that I know of. We should be
I'm
more aware of that.
kind of
but
directing it towards Mr. What's his name over there? Our producer director extraordinaire.
Not January, I think it's in February.
yeah,
February, okay.
and March, they'll have their concerts coming up.
Good.
So, let's see. What was I going to bring up then?
College?
Well, first off, let's WGW. Wrestling Gone Wild. He's having a show on
I thought
February
that stood
4th.
for Women Gone Wild. Boy, I'm going to go to that show. Tommy Burdick.
He's got
Tommy
a show.
Two-Tone.
Yeah, a show coming up on Saturday, February 4th. Gates open at 5, I believe, and the wrestling starts at 6, or
Yep.
it's 5:30 and 6:30
At the Armory.
at the National Guard Armory. Some high flying, obviously, matches going to
Yep.
be going on there.
Yep.
And he's got some newer talent coming up that's been trained by somebody from the WEW.
Oh,
or so
WWE.
WWE. Sorry, I don't.
Hey, we don't want Vince McMahon calling us up and suing us
No,
for
no,
getting it
I
wrong.
don't. No, I don't want that either. And I don't watch it
It
much.
used to be the WWF, and then he got sued by the World Wildlife Federation.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's WWE now.
Well, you know more about it than I do.
Hey,
So-
it's either watching a soap opera or watching wrestling. Same thing.
So there's, if you're looking for something to do, tickets are, I can't remember now. I think they're $20 for ringside, 10 for general admission, and kids 6 and under are free.
Yeah. If you want to pay $5 just to come in and yell at a guy, come on in.
Come on in. He wants you to be there to boo or cheer.
Yep.
That's they live off that, and there's going to be the World Heavyweight Championship's going to be determined that night. And
how do we get into that?
Well, we don't.
Oh.
We're not ready for that. We're not ready for primetime action yet. So
hey, it's good entertainment. You know, people may laugh about it, but I tell you what, it's good entertainment, and it's not that expensive. You know, it's not like you're spending $100 to go to a football game, you know, for one ticket.
That's right.
So,
you know, and ringside. He told me that pretty much the ringside seats are almost all sold out.
Good.
So hopefully he gets a good turnout, and because
Hey.
he does a lot. I mean, I don't know. He loves doing it, but he's also been doing it for
it's been
quite
years.
some time.
Yeah.
So
Well, his brother is actually started it, I think,
Oh,
and then
okay.
Tom has kind of taken the reins from there. But yeah, he puts on a good show, and like it's fun when and then he'll jump in there once in a while and.
Cocky Tommy Two-Tone's going to be on the
card?
corner of the System.
The System. Okay.
Who originates from Virginia,
Yep.
Minnesota, and he will be in his corner. And it's a challengers match or something like that to see he wrestle somebody to be next in line to fight for the world title.
Oh, there you go.
And he wrestled actually at the fair for that world title back in August and got beat by Rampage Santana.
Well, you're really on top of
Well,
this.
yeah,
stuff,
I'm
aren't you?
really, and now I said I'm not into it, but now I'm remembering all these names.
Did you know that, you know, if you go to a sporting event and you buy a ticket, there's a sales tax on it because theoretically the NFL, NBA, nobody knows who's supposed to, you know, knows who's supposed to win. You don't pay tax on a wrestling ticket. What's that tell you? Sorry, Tommy, gave out the secret.
No, I'm sure I'll be there shooting photos.
Good.
His Dave Harwig from Through My Lens, I think it's something like that. If you see him on Twitter, is usually there for every event he has, shooting pictures. But Dave's got a previous engagement at a UMD hockey game that night, so
You get to fill in, huh?
well, I told Tom, I said no, I'm not gonna commit to that because I don't know if I can be there, number one, and I probably will go, but I'm not gonna.
You know, usually those camera guys get involved in the action.
Well,
You never know.
I almost got involved the one last time in Keewatin, I believe. And that wasn't much fun.
So,
But no, so there's something to do on the 4th.
yep.
College basketball here. The men lost to Itasca last Saturday. Came back from a double-digit deficit, sent the game into overtime. Of course, they missed 5 free throws in overtime, which would have salted the game away.
Right.
And they, I don't know, I can't remember if they missed any in the regular session or not. But it came down to a last-second shot, which the Itasca player, in my opinion, and he called me a homer, did not leave his hand before the buzzer went off.
They counted it.
They went. He shot it, went in, and they what do you say? Huddled up,
Yep.
and then they decided to count it.
Oh, wow.
So I'm thinking they wanted to get out of there. You know, and it's hard. It's a tough decision because you don't have instant replay.
Right.
I get it, but in my opinion, he did not get rid of the ball by the time the buzzer went off.
Well, you're going to get a letter from the Referees Association.
Whatever. I don't care. I'm not ripping any of them, any one of them in particular. I mean, so I just, it's common sense. That's all.
Yeah.
Just use your common sense. And if that was their common sense, then they made the right decision, and that's fine. We live with it. And
Go on to the next one.
you know, Kenzie wouldn't commit either way when I asked him about it, and I knew he wouldn't. But I mean, it was like he just said you got to tip your cap to the Itasca kid for making the shot.
Well, you don't want to upset the official because sooner or later they're going to get you down the road at another game. So, and they don't forget.
No, they don't, which
No.
is unfortunate. They shouldn't be doing it that way, but that's all right. Boy, we're almost out of time here.
I know you've been pulling the whole show. You've been pulling your weight this week.
Yeah, but I should be letting you talk more.
Nope.
The Twins made another trade.
They did.
They got Michael Taylor from Kansas City for a couple minor leaguers. He's a Gold Glove winning outfielder.
What are they going to do with all these top-notch outfielders?
They should have the best outfield in the major leagues at some point. So it doesn't look like Kepler might get traded. He might not get traded.
I think he will.
But we'll see what happens. They still got plenty of time before spring training hits and all that. The Wild are losing 3 games in a row.
Yep. They won, 4 in a row or something, and then now they lose 3. And
now they're in 4th place?
No consistency.
No, not at all with that team. That's why you hate getting invested in these Minnesota teams, because they just let you down every time.
Yeah.
You know, they had a tough road trip. I mean, Carolina, Florida, and Tampa is not an easy road trip.
No.
But come on, you give up 5 goals in both the Carolina game and Florida game. Give me a break. Ryan Hartman evidently must have taken some stupid penalties, and he apologized the other day. He must have been in the Tampa game. Maybe he was in the box or something when they scored a goal, a go-ahead goal or whatever. But the Wolves, 25-25.
Yeah, about the best they're going to get.
And I think they're 1 game or a half a game out of the 4th seed.
Yep.
With that record in the Western Conference.
Rudy's back.
Rudy played last night. I've heard he played his best game of the season for the Wolves.
Yeah. And the big kitten, not back yet. He
no,
got it in.
The kitten.
I didn't say that other word.
That's some calf strain, let me tell you.
He is some pussy cat, I'll tell you that. Because he got a sore little strain and he hasn't played in a month.
Well, you know, I think we talked about it. I think Klay Thompson had his calf strain and then it turned into Achilles.
Yeah.
And you don't want that because you don't want him missing the whole year either. No. So be safe with them. They played well without him at times.
Yeah. Well, I guess you got to have a certain mindset to take $20 million a year and sit out half the year with a calf strain.
Well, I know. But we're not going to strain our calves sitting at these seats.
No, we're not.
We pretty much stay injury free unless one of us falls off on the floor.
No.
And
the Vikings, we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, they're interviewing for a defensive coordinator. Mike Pettin was supposed to interview today. He was already coaching with the team.
Yeah.
They're bringing in Brian Flores, who used to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. So we'll see. But he had to interview at Arizona for the head coaching job. So we'll see.
And Gary, your quarterback's going to Vegas.
Brett Favre. There we go. All right. Well, we'll leave you with
Brett Favre.
Aaron Rodgers. Sorry. But we'll leave you with that one for Mike Egan. I'm Gary Gimbetti. We'll see you again next week on Home Team Advantage.
Hibbing Public Access Television would like to thank U.S. Bank for providing us with studio space.